Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpacktrader training room for Tuesday, June 22nd. Well, unlike yesterday, it's been a very slow morning so far. And I have a very slow computer this morning, it looks like. All right. So nothing going on in the pound Aussie or crude yet. No trades since 8:30 on the pound Aussie or 9 o'clock on crude. So let's take a quick look at unleaded gas. Unleaded picks up a get-in-sync trade short at 2057. That would trigger in either that bar or this one here. So we're in the short. We pick up a stop and reverse. Then at $2,066. Which goes to money management. It's only target 1, not target 2. Comes back, stops out for a single tick. So we went from 57 to 66. We lost 9 ticks. 2 positions were 18 down, less the 2 we gained back there were 14 down. We pick up a third trade with another long, long off the 50 EMA at 2081. That goes strongly up through money management and target 2, 54 tick target 2. So we're 38 ticks positive at that point, and we are trailing currently at 2112. So unleaded in a POQ trade. We'll just follow that till it completes. Nothing else going on yet. Soybeans has a get-in-sync trade. A get-in-sync short for coming up for market open in less than 2 minutes. Just barely less than 2 minutes, but less than 2 minutes nonetheless. Unleaded. Unleaded hitting target 4 now. Stop to 21.29. About a minute and a half to market open. Good morning, Miles. Please do say hello. That's the only way I know who's here on YouTube Live. And please do hit the like button. That does help Troy's channel. Unleaded stop now to 21.43. Looks like the last overbought or oversold we had on crude was an oversold reading that produced a long trade about 8:15 this morning that was successful, and therefore we're waiting for a new OB signal or a trade off of the moving averages, 50, 20, or 200, 50 EMA, 200 EMA, or 20 SMA. And we have a potential get in sync short on the YM, and markets are open, and we should be in that short, it looks like. No, in the short on the YM at 767. I can pick up the lines I'm missing. And it looks like we've already hit target 1. So this will be a 1-in-1 session on the YM. And it looks like we stopped out on the unleaded trade, so that trade is complete. And the short trade was not untradeable, and we pick up the long. And we are in the long at this point on soybeans. $7.46 for the YM stop. Unleaded is POQ. Good morning, Miles, Roger, Randy. And good morning, Armando. YM 738 for the stop, having hit target 2. So whatever way you're trading it, this is a POQ trade for the YM. Entry was at 767, targets at 738 and 723 for 29 and 44 respectively. Stop is now at 732. And I would probably push that up a couple of ticks above the low of that bar. Yeah, I'd push that up to make it 726. Excuse me. 730. Yeah, so make it 736. I'd keep that at 736 personally. Russell had a long setup that canceled. Soybeans stopped and reversed into the short, and I believe it may have just hit target 1. Yes, hitting target 1, and that is also money management. So target 1 is worth 8 ticks. Our loss was actually target 1 will be worth 6 ticks when we. Wait a minute, it looks like stop and reverse may have been on already. Something looks a little strange about that. I need to check my settings. It looks like stop and reverse and maybe key levels are on. And the Russell getting another long, triggering in. The YM did stop out. I would probably have gone ahead and moved it down to 27. And that would be the stop out. And the Russell is in the long trade. If you're trading it, just watching this from the room standpoint. We'll take a look at the setting on soybeans. Looks to me like soybeans is a quarter point market, so we shouldn't have key levels on. And stop and reverse we should do manually. So crude and pound Aussie, very quiet this morning. The Russell long trade taking heat. All right. Yeah, stop and reverse is set to 2. Let's set that back to 0 and do that manually. And key levels are off. Okay, I think the stop and reverse is probably what took that. Yeah, there it is. So 11.50. So it should be 13.11 even for the stop and reverse, hitting target 1. So that is an 8-tick target 1. And stopping out for a single tick on the trailer. And now another short on soybeans. And the Russell stopped out of its long trade. Let's see, what was our loss on this long trade? The risk was 19 ticks, so that's times 4, that's 76 down. We've got a ways to go. That was a larger, oh, I'm sorry, no, we didn't take a full loss. Excuse me. We went from an entry at 13.25 to an entry at 11. So that's 9 ticks, 8, we're down 18. So we're still down 9. And we're in the short. We have an SMA short on the Russell now. And given the action so far on the Russell and the YM, that looks to probably be a good place to be. The Russell hasn't been as trendy. It's got a bit more noise. and just working through. Still nothing on the pound Aussie or crude this morning. No trades at all so far on the 9 o'clock session. All right, crude now has an overbought reading on the OSOB, so we can get shorts. We could get a pink short or any long or short off of the moving averages. And a long on the Russell. That will be a stop and reverse at 67.3, which it just hit. So we're long on the Russell from 67.3. Money management at 69.2 and target at 70.8. And the YM is done, so we won't follow the long there. Okay, how far down would we be on if we were trading the Russell? Okay, 86 ticks on the full loss. Then we get 64.6 to 67.3. So another 26.52 and 86 is 88, 138. So ways to go. Money management on the Russell trade. Stop comes to 67.4 because of our stop and reverse adjustment. Crude working around the $73 mark, but no trades yet. And the Russell stopping out for a single tick. Not able to get through the 50 EMA and up to target 2. So now down 156, or 136, I'm sorry. after 3 trades. And soybeans is going sideways. So the YM is done, unleaded is done. Soybeans is in a short trade, and the Russell is actually in a long trade now. We get a long off the 20 SMA this time. That's not really what the 20 SMA trade is designed for, but it's still a part of the trade plan. And given that it bounced off the 20 and pushed quickly through the 50 and got a shot there. But we'll see if that's just going sideways or what. But we've got to get through the 200 to get to money management. Messy morning. Testing the 50 once again on the Russell. And still in the short. Stop and reverse to long is filtered at the moment because of hybrid mode. The trend indicator is still in a downward slope on soybeans. So not taking the stop and reverse long. Looks like crude is now on a march upward, but no trades to take advantage of, unfortunately. Looks like it's not going to be a quick morning today. But it looks like a good day for questions. And stopping out on the Russell long trade. So trade number 4 not being kind to us. Another 86 ticks. Unleaded with a short trade, and we have an overbought signal on crude, so we could get a short here. Gonna have to get more of a pullback than that to get us a trade off of any of the moving averages. And soybeans stopping and reversing back to long again. And going through target 1 and getting very, very close to target 2 already. In fact, did we just get, yep, there's target 2. And target 3. $11, $18, and $24 actually. $9, $16, and $22 because of the stop and reverse adjustment. Stop is at $13.25 now. $13.14 even now on for the soybeans trade for the stop. $13.15.25 and $16.50. Soybeans moving up quite nicely now, 17.25 for the stop. Everything else seems to be pretty slow. Pound Aussie starting to move around a little bit, but still no trades. Although we're getting close to getting it overbought reading, so we could get shorts off of that. 13.18 for, and a short on crude. $73.04. So we're finally in a trade on crude. Crude now testing the 50 EMA. Now the key is, will the 50 EMA provide support for a further up move, or will it move down? And this will, if we get 3 up bars from here, we will get a yellow trade off the 50 EMA, a yellow long on crude. In the short trade on crude at the moment, And in a short on soybeans as well. All right. If this bar closes up from its current point, it will close at 73.20, which will give us a stop and reverse at 73.26. All right, no long trade on crude. The chart in the lower right-hand corner is soybeans. It's symbol ZS on NinjaTrader. Symbol is S on TradeStation. It's a 5-tick range bar on NinjaTrader. It's $1.20 or $1.25 momentum bar, or 1.25 point momentum bar on TradeStation. All right, and we are into the 10 o'clock session for crude. And that's a get in sync short now on crude. If you're trading the 10 a.m., still in the short, or now both 9 and 10 a.m. sessions are in the short trade. No problem. That's one of those little differences in between the platforms, is there are sometimes some symbol differences. And we are on the November contract on soybeans. And crude basically just going back and forth, giving this noise, not making too much progress, getting close to money management, but now back up in between the entry and the stop. So noisy price action, the hallmark this morning. And the Russell with a successful long trade. The Russell and the YM showing signs of life. From the buyers. And soybeans getting noisy. Getting into the long short trade, then stopping and reversing to long. I think it's stop and reverse to long. Let me check. It looks like it just barely hit the entry. Yeah, we got a tick beyond the entry. Times 38. Oh, yeah. Over a minute on that bar. So, yep. Reversed too long and then a full stop out. So, the market's getting noisy, just kind of going sideways to a great extent. now a short on soybeans. I would take that at 14.75, getting below the 50 EMA. But that would definitely have triggered in at that. And our crude trade taking heat, ending within 3 ticks of our stop at 73.32. And 1 tick of this higher swing that our stop is based on. And the Russell hitting target 2 and stopping out for a small partial. That's certainly not going to get it positive. And that's 5 trades on the Russell. And a stop out on crude, hitting 73.32 on the nose. So that ends the 9 a.m. session. That is the first trade on the 10 a.m. session for a 28 tick loss, 56 on 2 positions. And another long on the Russell, an SMA trade this time, the dark blue trade. This is trade number 6. So that will definitely be all for the day. Money management on the Russell. Nothing happening on trade today. And 3 more minutes and we'll be in a stand down there. Russell hitting money management. Stop to 64.8. Getting close to a target 2 there on the Russell. Target 2 at 69.2. And we've gotten as high as 69.1. So that would definitely be a protect position, and I would have taken the position at target 1. That would be 29 ticks for target 1. And our stop now at 64.9. Crude setting a new session high at 73.45. And soybeans with yet another stop in reverse. All right, soybeans is through 6 trades. So that's a losing session on soybeans today. On trading through would be a loss. And actually, I believe so soybeans is a loss either trading through this morning or one and done. The Russell stop at 65.9. And it looks like we did hit target. We did hit target 2 if you stayed with the trade. On the next pass up. All right, stop is plotting at 66.7. I'd put that at 66.4. Keep it below the low of that bar, since that is a swing low. No new trades on crude. And trade today is in its stand down now. So it's trade today will stand down until 11 o'clock. Kevin just posting that. If we get a close below the balance line on crude on this bar or the next bar, we will actually get a short. So we'll need to watch that. And the Russell stopping out. At 66.8, 66.7. And so that would finish the session on the Russell if for anyone trading it. Yeah, definitely a stinky morning after a beautiful morning yesterday. We were done with all our charts by what? Shortly after 10 o'clock, I believe it was. Not too surprising after the movement we had the end of last week and yesterday. The market would take some time to regroup today. So the only things we're watching are crude and the pound Aussie, and so far both are flat. Crude has had one trade for the whole morning since 9 o'clock this morning. So an hour and a half with one trade. Very unusual for crude. Crude would have had to gotten a couple of ticks lower to get a possible SMA trade off crude. The low there was low was 26. Actually, we might, if we get it up close, we could possibly get we're going to be right at the edge. Exhaustion dots will be at 24. If this bar closes up, I think we'll get an SMA trade. If this bar closes down, the next one closes up, we'll certainly get an SMA trade. So the pound Aussie has on stand down for another half hour. Actually another 35 minutes. Do I hear questions? Because it looks like just a really slow morning. I don't think I'm going to try to go beyond 11 o'clock this morning. And as slow as things are right now in crude and the pound Aussie, not much to be talking about. Yeah, that's a little kind of tough. Hopefully it was a membrane keyboard that didn't cause you any electrical problems in the keyboard. Or the computer. Okay, if it continues up from the current, unless it moves the bar lower, current setup would be 73.46. And even if it moves it a little lower, I think I would keep the entry there, keep it at least a tick above the session high. That's good. Most likely then it is a membrane keyboard, so that you didn't have any electrical damage, only just a mess to clean up. And there is our trade at 46. On crude. Trade number 2 of the morning. That's an SMA trade. I would seriously consider putting the stop at 21. Try to hide it below the 20 SMA on that, even though key levels would normally take us to 19. It's not big enough a trade to do that. But with the stop just 2 ticks of the current level of the 20 SMA, I would definitely want to hide that. How big a trade have we got there? Our risk is 22. Yeah, three ticks is about all I want to take on that. All right. The long hasn't triggered in on crude yet. No closes below the balance line either, so trade is still valid. And the crude trade has triggered in. So long on crude. Everything else is standing down at the moment. All right. Taking some heat. All right. I would bring the stop back up to 24 now on the crude trade as plotted, since the SMA is well clear of that now, up at 73.30. So we'll see what this trade does. right. Ooh. Taking heat on the crude trade. That'll be 2 losses today. Whatever your testing says, I typically don't. And there's a full stop out on crude. That's 2 full losses in the 10 o'clock session. So that, by the trade plan, would end the session, the mini session. Now, I will, that's a mini session trade plan, so I'll trade the 11 o'clock session. But I am done for the 10 o'clock session. Yeah, that actually would be 2 losses because the short was a get in sync for the 10 a.m. session that we would have been in. All right. Well, that ends everything for now. Then we've got nothing to look at till 11 o'clock. You too, Roger. When we have a morning like this, I go on with my day and come back tomorrow. But as I say, I will go ahead and trade the 11 a.m. crude session. But other than that, unless we pick up a pound Aussie trade between 11 and noon, I'm done. Any other questions this morning? One thing we can have a quick look at, and that's on the pound Aussie. Even though it's not part of the trade plan, if you notice, we've got close proximity to 200 here. $84861, and the 200 EMA gets as high as 84842, so within 2 pips, in less than 2 pips. So that would qualify under the diamond level trades as the 200 EMA, the magenta trade. And if you want to use that, there we go, Fibonacci extension. We're going to go from the bottom of that bar to the top of that one. So that would be 8506. That's not the one I wanted to look at. That's why it's not where I thought it was. Actually, that actually is a magenta trade, but there is a prior one on this set of exhaustion dots. We look at the first dot in this case, 84794. The EMA is at 84823. So just under 3 pips. So that would qualify. Use the F9 hotkey. Bottom of that bar to the top of this bar. Actually, no. I gotta move that. It's actually the top of this bar. So there is our trade. Setup is at 8496. All right, the close of the bar is 8496 roughly. 84957, so 8497. And key level rounding, the 7 tick round would push that up, since it's not closer than 2 ticks or closer to 95. It would push it up to 96. I'm sorry, 98, which is a key level, and that would take it to 8501. With money management at 8513. So here, and then targets So you have two positions coming off at target 2, one at target 3, one at target 4. And we've hit money management and missed target 2 by just a couple of pips. That target would be 1.7 because the rounding is within the 2 ticks. And we got as high as 166. So that would have gotten you to almost to a target. Still less than a pip and a half from target. Now, personally, at this point, I would take off at least one of those 2 positions. And take some profit there. And let me do the other thing and turn on that trade in the calculator. That may take a minute. That's about as big as I can make them, Don. And we'll turn on the SMA, or the no, that's not the one I want. I want the EMA 2. D06 for the SMA trade, D05 for the EMA 2 trade, which that's what this trade is. Oh, that's interesting. I need to check one thing and see if Interesting. Oh, that's why. Wondering why that wasn't lining up exactly right, but that third bar is a tick lower. Yeah, still coming up pretty close to the same. Interesting. Oh well. Anyway, so let's get that off of the screen so we don't. That's not confusing matters. All right. So if you look at the data box on that, entry at 8501, money management 8513, targets 8516 for two positions, 23 and 31, and the stop at 8513. No, I'm sorry. Stop is at 8479. But it's now at 84.99 and has hit target 2. Go back and show that one more time in the calculator. And the 11 a.m. trade plan is about to start for trade a day, since that trade is not part of the trade a day trade plan. And you notice when I turn that trade up on, I'll show you in just a second. But yes, D05 is the EMA2 trade that I just turned on. D06 is the SMA trade. I'll turn both of those on. You can see what they look, see if they're doesn't change anything, but you actually had this successful trade yesterday afternoon. You had this 2 a.m. trade that was bouncing along. It stopped and reversed on this one. Actually, it would not have been a stop and reverse because it just didn't get far enough with an adjustment. But the calculator then started tracking the long trade rather than the short. Had we actually stayed with the short, it would have hit. Yes, it would have hit money management, and that would have been a successful trade. So we wouldn't have had these two trades. Or this one, since we would have already been in the short. And we wouldn't have these two because we had a successful short trade. So all kinds of interesting things there. And now I will turn that back to where it should be on this chart for the room. But all of that would have been before our start time anyway. Turn those off, and there we go. And that's what the chart looks like without those two. Notice it did get to money management and got a break even, or actually a small partial there, as well as target 1. Not quite getting to target 2, but no trades since then without using those diamond level trades. That's correct. Those trades are not part of the basic pound Aussie trade plan. The basic pound Aussie trade plan just uses the gold level trades: pink, blue, green, and yellow. All right, and the 11 a.m. session has started for both the pound Aussie and crude. But since those are all we're watching, and definitely noisy morning, I'm going to call it, unless there are further questions, I'm going to call it a day and let you trade your own charts, which is what you should be doing anyway, unless you're using a signal service, which this trade room is not a signal service. So everyone have a good afternoon. I will see everybody back here in the morning at between 9:20 and 9:30 Eastern for the morning session, and then we'll shut down around 10:20 to 10:25, and I'll get ready for the crude oil inventory session at 10:30 tomorrow morning. So everyone have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.